Hi everybody, it's Brian again, back to look at the next issue of GamePro in my collection. This is GamePro number 57 from April 1994. And funny that I just saw this game, The Incredible Hulk, on both the Genesis and the Super Nintendo recently. I was going to pick up the Super Nintendo version, but passed on it for something else. But as you can see, the cover doesn't have The Incredible Hulk. And it has guides for Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Pro reviews, it has Escape from Monster Manor, Rocko's Modern Life, Tetris 2, Star Trek The Next Generation, Jurassic Park, Dragon's Lair, Skitcher, and more. Winter Consumer Electronics Showstoppers, Tomcat Alley, Super Metroid, Virtual Racing, Tempest 2000, Beavis and Butthead, Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3, and more. And of course, there's the official, in April, for April Fools, they have LamePro, where they kind of make fun of their magazine in an April Fools type joke, where it's a whole few pages of a mock GamePro magazine called LamePro. And on hardware, you see the big thing is the Genesis CDX, the portable CD system. They marketed it as portable. What it is a Sega Genesis and a Sega CD in one unit. And that came out around 1994, second quarter, or I should say spring. I'll skip some of these ads here. Okay. And right here you see the table of contents, same table of contents as the others, letter to the editors, cutting edge, hot at the arcades, and you get into your pro reviews. You have Genesis, Sega CD, Super Nintendo, Jaguar, Game Boy, Game Gear, CDI, and 3DO. Some of the highlights of the reviews are, for the Sega Genesis, Prince of Persia. For the Sega CD, you had Dragon's Lair, Pugsy, Super Nintendo, Star Trek The Next Generation, Pirates of Dark Water, which is a fun 2D beat-em-up, like Final Fight. Rocko's Modern Life, love that show. For the 3DO, you have Escape from Monster Manor, Dragon's Lair. For the CDI, Kether and Inca. Jaguar, Evolution Dino Dudes. Tetris 2 for the Game Boy, Alfred Chicken for the Game Boy, and Micro Machines for the Game Gear. Try to get this centered a little better. Hopefully you can see it. Here you see the cover of LamePro. See the sports pages in Role Players Realm. And Role Players Realm this month had Dungeons & Dragons Tower of Doom for the arcades. Fun beat-em-up with RPG elements. Young Merlin, Future Fantasies, or Wizardry 5, Heart of Maelstrom. Breath of Fire for the Super Nintendo, one of my favorites. Love the Breath of Fire series. Good 2D role-playing, good 2D sprite-based Japanese RPGs at their best. King Arthur Knights of Justice for the Super Nintendo. Brainlord for the SNES. Gaia for the SNES. Maybe they mean Illusion of Gaia. Spike McFang. Vey for the Sega CD. Heimdall for the Sega CD. And Might Magic 3 for the Turbo Duo. Some more Game Genie codes. No business like show business. Here's a letter from the editor. You have the 1994 Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. Here they talk about games coming up. They have the Kirby Tee Shot, which maybe they mean Kirby's the Kirby golf game for the Super Nintendo. I can't remember right off the bat. Beavis and Butthead was coming out for platforms. Street Fighter II Special Championship Edition. Project Reality, the N64. 3DO machine, 32-bit Saturn right down here. Here's an ad for Alfred Chicken for the Super Nintendo. Never played it. Here's some good mail. Let's see if I can pick out a reader's letter. Will future CD games have footage directly by famous directors like Steven Spielberg or Tim Burton? And will they have famous movie stars in them? It seems likely that big-name filmmakers will get into big-name video games. The same thing happened 10 years ago with music videos, when Hollywood started paying attention to MTV. Some top Hollywood names have already been participating in video games. Steven, for instance, Spielberg himself has helped create a feature game, The Dig. So, no, it never really happened. FMV or full motion video games never really... They were more of a fad when people found out they could put video on CD-ROMs. So they never really lasted. Here's one, just wondering. I know you've rated games 1.0 or 1.5 in different categories, but have you ever given all 5.0 ratings to a game with Expert Challenge? Sean Camp from Memphis, Tennessee. Not yet. Axelay and Super Empire, both for the SNES, are two expert-level games that almost scored perfect 5.0s. So they almost gave 5.0s across the board for Axelay and Super Empire Strikes Back. In Street Fighter II, what does Chun-Li's expression Kikoken mean? And the Japanese translation as energy from the palm. So there you go. Claymates. Dual Aliens. This is a cutting edge article. It looks about modeling. In video games. How they get the characters on the screen in technology. There's motion capturing. Sega CD ad for Tomcat Alley. Hot at the Arcades, Ridge Racer. Super Street Fighter II Turbo. Got some Codemaster games for this Genesis. And here's the Incredible Hulk, which I never played. I saw it. I should have picked it up. I think it was $5 or $2.50. Maybe I'll go back and get it. Came out for all platforms. Have Genesis, Super Nintendo, Game Gear. Skitchin, the skating game on the Genesis, I've never played. Got good reviews, 5s across the board except for Control, got a 4.5. Prince of Persia for the Genesis, got really good reviews, 5s across the board except 4.0 for sound and 4.5 for Control. Mega Turrican for the Genesis, I didn't know there was a Turrican game for the Genesis. Bubble and Squeak for the Genesis. Never played it. Don't know what it's about. Looks like a fun 2D platformer. Jurassic Park for the Sega CD. And here's an ad for the Sega 32X. Plays 3 ways. It's a Genesis, it's a Sega CD, it's a portable CD player. Now, you see how big that is in comparison to his hand for scale. That they think is a portable CD player. You got to remember back in 1994, CD Walkmans or Discmans weren't as popular as they were then now. Or they're not popular now, but they weren't mainstream. So this was considered a portable CD player. Look how big it is. Dracula Unleashed for the Sega CD. You can see it better, get the glare out of the way. Dragon's Lair for the Sega CD. Mad Dog McCree for the Sega CD. Pugsy for the Sega CD. Excalibur 2097 for the Super Nintendo. Here's some coupons for $3 off these sports games. Mario All-Stars free with system through May 1994. This is the Super NES control deck. It was $79.99. Here's the Game Boy Basic System from Nintendo. Comes with the Game Boy, the batteries, and it's only $40. I should have picked. I never had a Game Boy as a kid. For that price, I should have picked one up. Still looking for an original Game Boy, but I want one with a box and everything. That's don't mean to get sidetracked. Here you can see the Sega Game Gear Core System. The final cost is $59.99. The Sega Genesis with Sonic 2 is $89.99. These are after price cuts. Sega Genesis 2 Core System, $59.99. That's with no game, I believe. Star Trek The Next Generation on Super Nintendo. If you're interested in this game, I haven't played it, I have the Genesis version, and I want to pick up the regular NES version. Rue from Clan of the Grey Wolf did a good review of these games. Check them out, see if they're your cup of tea. Pirates of Dark Water. I really like this game. It's a 2D beat-em-up. I played about the first level. It didn't get great reviews from GamePro. They said the fun factor, it's not fun at all. But I like beat-em-up games, so there you go. There's the old school Sting before he went to look like the Crow with his black and white paint. He has the original blue and white. Here's an ad for Super Street Fighter 2 coming up this summer. Rocco's Modern Likes, Bunko's Dangerous Day. Fun factor, they really loved it. Escape from Monster Manor for the 3DO. Never played this. Dragon's Lair for the 3DO. The Horde. I remember playing this at my friend's house in high school. Kirk Cameron starred in it. It was like an almost RPG-ish. I think it did have RPG elements. Kind of like Zelda-ish. Very fun game, if I remember correctly. Jaguar ad. Viva Las Vegas, the best of CES. First look at Beavis and Butthead for the Genesis. The GamePro's picks, the best games of the Winter Consumer Electronics Show. Inside Super Metroid. Best SNES, we have Super Metroid. Super Metroid delivers what every Samus enthusiast hopes for. A colossal 24 meg SNES cart packed with the techniques and action that made its 8-bit predecessor a classic. A lengthy opening cinematic sequence ties Super into the NES and Game Boy chapters. Apparently, a hatchling Metroid from SR389, I think it's 388, I'm not sure, escaped and has recognized the planet and has recolonized the planet. At first, you'll think the game is deja vu, but then you discover that the old area is just the iceberg tip of a huge new terrain, filled with new objects and new full-screen Metroid monstrosities. Samus has a full array of new and old moves. She can now shoot diagonally, dash, and swap more efficiently between weapons using the SNES controller. Controller's greater button capacity. New techniques such as operating the ice wave beams simultaneously add excitement to the game. The size is purported to be 5 times that of the 8-bit version, which would place Super Metroid as the biggest platform game of all time. Best Genesis, Virtual Racing. Best Sega CD, Tomcat Alley. Best 3DO, Shockwave Earth 2019. Best CDI, The Seventh Guest. Best Jaguar, Tempest 2000. Best Game Boy, Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3. Best Game Gear, Disney's Aladdin. Best of the Rest, Beavis and Butthead for the Genesis. Best of the Rest for Super Nintendo, Blackthorn. For the SNES also, Death and Return of Superman. Saturday Night Slam Masters. And Pirates of Dark Water for the Genesis. More Best of the Rest, Speedy Gonzales for the SNES, Stunt Racer FX, Spider-Man for both Venom Maximum Carnage for the SNES and Genesis, Jungle Book for the SNES and Genesis, Star Trek The Next Generation for the 3DO, Heart of the Alien, Out of This World Part 2 for the Sega CD, Mortal Kombat for the Sega CD. Here's a Beavis and Butthead couch at CES with them on the couch. Giant Super Nintendo controllers and Game Boy. Quick Hits at CES, Home Improvement SNES, Rebel Assault Sega CD, Rise of the Robots Sega CD, and Sega Genesis. And Crazy Chase for the SNES. And here's a Sonic the Hedgehog 3 strategy guide. I'm just going to flip through. Here's continuing the CS coverage, R-Type 3 for the SNES, Soul Star for the Sega CD, SOS for the SNES, Sound Fantasy for the SNES, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, SNES and Genesis, and Sylvester and Tweety for the Genesis. Kirby Tee Shot for the SNES. I think this was renamed Kirby... forget the name of it. It was like a mini golf game. I could be mistaken. Way of the Warrior for the 3DO. I remember playing that game. Very bad fighting game for the 3DO, but I kind of liked it. It's that so bad it's kind of good kind of mentality. Wild Snake for the SNES. Castlevania Bloodlines for the Genesis. Currently playing that game. It's very tough. Short, 6 levels, but very tough. Especially when you get to the Palace of Versailles. It gets really hard there. GamePro Labs, Sega CDX. Suggested retail price, $399. Available April. The XEI, JVC XI. Plays audio CDs, CDGs. Video jukebox. Basically, you add on, you put a whole bunch of carts in and you can play different games, but it's like a video switcher but for games. So you can pick a different game you want to play that's in the jukebox without pulling out the cart and putting it in. Here's a power pack for the Game Gear, probably a must-have necessity if you had a Game Gear back then. Heather for the CDI. Never heard of it. Inca for the CDI. Evolution Dino Dudes for the Jaguar. Here's the sports pages. Role Player's Realm. Dungeons & Dragons Tower of Doom for the arcade. Young Merlin Strategy Guide for the Super Nintendo. Future Fantasies, Gaia, which would be called Illusion of Gaia, from developers of Soul Blazer, ActRaiser. King Arthur and the Knights of Justice, Brain Lord, Wizardry 5, Breath of Fire, Heimdall, Spike McFang, Vey, Might and Magic 3, Tetris 2, Alfred Chicken for the Game Boy, Micro Machines for the Game Gear, here is LamePro. You see they have Samurai Mowdown, Mortal Wombat, Sim Schoolyard, NPR Jams, Finally the Final Fight, reviews for the Genocide, Sneeze, 3DO, Pretendo, Lameboy, Lame Gear, and Jinx. Pot Shots, Stooge Fighter 2 Special Chump Edition, Jurassic Pork, Glitch Pro, Video Game Freeze, Lockups, and Crash Bugs. Now these are not real, it's just to make fun of GamePro, just kind of a short April Fool's joke. They had every April and every April issue. SWAT Pro, Disney's Aladdin. Disney's Aladdin. Again, lots of them. Lots of tips for it. Madden 94. Mortal Kombat for Genesis. Cliffhanger for the Sega CD. Kendo's Rage for the Super Nintendo. Secret of Mana. Game Genie code. Protection from most hits. Items in the shop at Potos are free if you have enough money to buy them. Wisdom for level 16 is 90. Super Empire Strikes Back. Codes for a level select. Wow, 19 levels in that game. Here's a game called Toddlers, never heard of it. And here's an ad for Secret of Mana, Secret of Multi-Tap, for the Hudson Multi-Tap. Allows you to play 3 people, or 3 or more people. Lord of the Rings for the Super Nintendo. Crash and Burn for the 3DO. Fighter's Edge, Super Street Fighter 2. Overseas Prospects, Twin Bee Rainbow Bell Adventure. 3 for the 3DO, Pebble Beach Golf Links. Real Pinball, The Life Stage. Pro News. Will Sega and Microsoft file flight plans for the Saturn? Conflicting reports have surfaced regarding a possible partnership between Japan's Sega Enterprises and computer software giant Microsoft to co-create the operating system for Sega's upcoming Saturn 32-bit game system. Sega's SVP chip to be sold separately. Virtual racing was unique. Excuse me. I can't read that upside down. And presumably something, this Genesis game of Winter CES. And Sega owes all to a remarkable new technology, commonly known as a DSP, Digital Signal Processor chip. This chip was expensive to market, expensive, and that's why and that's why VR will be priced at $99.95, the most expensive Genesis game to date. Sega will sell an SVP chip module separately later this summer. Capcom of Japan supports 3DO, Sony. Sega Channel update. Beginning in March, Sega Channel is testing 12 cities. Sega Channel subscribers will be able to choose from a menu of 50 games, including action, martial arts, adventure, simulation, role-playing, and strategy titles. Although you won't see Sega's newest games on the channel, the company promises a good mix of old and new games designed especially for the channel, and new and sneak peeks of soon-to-be released games, including preview gameplay. The fee is $12 to $15 a month. Subscribers will receive an adapter that plugs into their Genesis system and connects their regular cable box connects to their regular cable box. Blockbuster buys into Virgin. Blockbuster paid about $30 million to pick up about 20% of Virgin Interactive Entertainment. Matsushita brings 3DO to the Far East. They planned a March release for the 3DO in Japan for 79,800 yen, approximately $712 US. Ninja Warriors for the Super Nintendo. Here's Nintendo Battles Pirates. Video game piracy is a growing problem, but now one more company is fighting against it. A settlement was agreed upon by Nintendo of America and United Microelectronics Corporation, UMC, over allegations that UMC was engaging in copyrights infringement. Nintendo filed a federal lawsuit against UMC, claiming that the Taiwan-based company was counterfeiting Nintendo games. Both companies stated that their satisfaction with the terms of the settlement, and the UMC noted in a UPI story that it will take extra precautions to avoid infringements. Top 10 video game rentals for the Nintendo. At Blockbuster you have Kirby's Adventure, Tetris 2, Ren and Stimpy Show, Buckaroos, Jurassic Park, Mario's Missing, Tecmo NBA Basketball, Bonk's Adventure, WWF King of the Ring, Rescue Rangers 2, and Battletoads Double Dragon. For the Super Nintendo, NBA Jam, Mortal Kombat 2, Disney's Aladdin, Clay Fighter, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Lethal Enforcers, Jurassic Park, Mega Man X, Super Empire Strikes Back, and number 10 is Winter Olympic Games. For the Genesis, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, NBA Jams, Mortal Kombat, Eternal Champions, Disney's Aladdin, Street Fighter 2 Special Championship Edition, Sonic Spinball, Tecmo Super Bowl, Tecmo NBA Basketball, Lethal Enforcers. For the Sega CD, Mad Dog McCree, Joe Montana's NFL Football 1994, WWF Rage in the Cage, Dragon's Lair, Jurassic Park, Ground Zero Texas, Sonic CD, Lunar the Silver Star Story, Dracula Unleashed, and Prize Fighter. And there you have it, guys. That is issue number 57 from April 1994. I hope you enjoyed this rather lengthy look at it. And as always, this is Brian. Thanks a lot, and have a great rest of your week and weekend. Bye.